Hey, this is David Waters of the Waters Project. You're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast, and a great place to be. And support them. And thank you, peace and love, really. And listen to music; it'll heal you.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. Let's talk about.
I'm a little.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
Let's talk about David Waters and the and your project here. What do you guys? Okay. How did you survive the pandemic, especially living in New York with everything all locked down? What did you do for the amount of time?
Well, the band kind of had to go into its little bubbles, so to speak.
Right.
We haven't really performed since then, and we are still together. It's just that what happens when you kind of break off. You find other things to do to keep your music flowing, and that. Right. And the drummer and I are particularly involved with each other quite a bit, and working on videos and working on music. We were very active recording, in the city, and that we finished up actually the video and the soundtrack or the music for that song. It's What You Do to Me, with our engineer, and that was a lot of, and with the bass player, and that was a lot of fun. Trying to get past that first. I'm sure everybody knows that feeling, that first initial like shock and like don't go out at all, and then being in a studio, everybody with masks on and that. So we still managed to get stuff done. I also have a little pet project where I do a lot of solo stuff, solo acoustic, to kind of get that those yayas out.
Right.
And my last show was The Bitter End on March 14th, a Saturday, and two bands canceled. They gave me basically 2 hours to fill because they needed to fill some seats.
Right.
And there was a good crowd there, but it was a really, really scary place to be. You could just feel it in the air. I mean, the city March 14th, because that's basically closing down. But so we kept busy. We kept busy, and I'm working on music all the time.
Is it going to be weird when you're finally back out there and playing again? Are there any nerves or any kind of apprehensions about?
Big time.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the same. It's. I'm sure I mean, whatever side of the aisle you're on, as far as COVID or masks or pandemic or whatever. It's just not the same. It will be different, but hopefully it'll be better. We hope to get back out soon, but there's the whole the paths that it takes for a band to get together, rehearse,
right,
meet, go over stuff, get out to clubs. It's not like just all of a sudden everybody just pops up out of a hole and we're on stage. It's a lot of work just even to get to that point, rehearsal studios and rooms and that. So it's, we'll be back out soon, but I just went to a show for Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs. That's Tom Petty's guitar player. Most people know that. He's got a side project, the Dirty Knobs, and they just played at the Brooklyn Bowl, and that was actually a week ago, I think Wednesday, and that was the first show I'd been out to, except a couple of little things that I did where I performed, for benefits for people, solo acoustic. And it was 1,000 people, maybe. It was totally sold out, and it was a beautiful thing to feel and see everybody together. But it was just nerve-wracking, man.
So I imagine, yeah. I mean, so I've been to shows as well, and I've actually even been to a festival. And as much as you want to be there, and the energy is so palpable and whatever, you still have that something ingrained in the back of your head about masks or not masks or about too many people together, something you never thought about 3 years ago, right?
Yeah, it's this might be kind of a weird analogy, but pre-AIDS, post-AIDS,
yeah,
sexual revolution, just a blast, in the 70s and 80s, and then AIDS came along, and the awareness of other things, and that really kind of had an effect on people's single social life. Not to kind of boil it down to that, but and this I think has kind of the same thing. It's like you go out, and what, again, no matter what you believe, you're still taking your chances, and I mean, I'm fully vaxxed and boosted, but we all know what's out there, so it's you just got to be aware.
And it's a pretty strange time, I think, too, because music is silly, but the soundtrack to your life, right? You can track, you listen to a song no matter what it is, and you're automatically like transported back to, I'm 13 and sitting in high school, and I remember hearing that song. So it's going to be weird, like the stuff that's coming out now is going to be sort of connected to this whole weird thing we've all gone through.
Yeah, absolutely. The amount of creativity and the unification, through music and all the arts that has come out of this is really just starting to unfold. I think, you're seeing all these projects, all these new bands, all this creativity that's come out of it. And the records are just being released now. Just, hey, we did this on during the pandemic. So all the stories are going to be tied back to this time. Neil Young just posted something. I saw it on Instagram or something like that, and I'll have to paraphrase it. But he was basically saying the '60s and that whole era of politics and war, and the music that came out with it. '60s through the '70s. He said that was a very important, special time where music unified, a base of thought and humanity, and brought people together, thinking that they could change the world.
Right.
And whether it was protest songs, or I think of Ohio, their song about Kent State, or just anything like that. And he, of all people, I think, could really nail that topic right on the head, sure, and make it make sense.
And I also think
there's going to.
Good. Sorry. I also think there's going to be, we've talked about it a lot on the show. You mentioned it, an artistic renaissance, not just in music, but in art, because everybody, like you said, has been locked away for 2 years, honing their craft and perfecting it, and really digging deep. And I think now that we're sort of on hopefully the upside, we're going to see an explosion of arts everywhere.
I absolutely, and whether they're honing their craft or just simply trying to find, a way to focus their energy, whether it's learning to play a kazoo or
right,
or writing orchestra music or whatever. I think within that, even with the first 2 months of the pandemic, or even through the summer of 20, it was amazingly beautiful to see all these people, a lot of my friends, sitting in their living rooms or in their bedrooms or their bathrooms like that, with an acoustic guitar, singing a song they just wrote about this. I have 2 or 3 of them that I wrote just within 2 weeks. That was just an emotional response, and sometimes that's not a honed emotional response. It can be rough. You should listen to some of the stuff I wrote, but it was a need to connect and communicate.
I 100% agree. So what's it like being, or did you ever imagine you'd be in the business this many years later? I think I'm reading your bio. It's like 40 years, right? That's a long time.
No, I didn't imagine that. It's the kind of thing. It's like, do you imagine, for me, and not to sound romantic or religious or anything like that. For me, it's the same thing as breathing or eating or walking or sleeping or living in a house or living in, or having a job. It's just, it's something that, I just do. It's not like I choose to do it, or like I think I'm going to continue this for a little while and see where it goes. It's just, regardless of whether I'm, successful or opening up for the Stones. Wow, that'd be nice. Or just writing music for myself. I was actually talking with a very good friend of mine, and we've been in music projects and bands together, but we're kind of like brothers in arms. We've known each other for probably 25 years in the city. And he's the same way. We're cut from the same thing where, and I was saying to Mark, isn't it amazing that we're still doing this? We're still writing, we're still creating, we're still recording, we're putting out videos just because we want to and we have to. We get, whether it's successful or not, it's still going to come out. So yeah, I'm happy that I'm still doing this. I'm happy that it still comes to me like that.
To that point, I think, and I'm the same way, maybe not playing in bands, but I think once music gets a hold of you and gets in your bones, it ingrained itself in your DNA, and there's no way out of it. I mean, it's a life sentence, if that makes sense.
No, it is. It is. I'm just really thankful that it's, I have this.
Right.
Some people have sports. I was good at sports, but I just wasn't my thing. Some people have painting. Some people race cars. Some people like to walk or jog or whatever. And this is just what's, in me. I've been connected to it since my dad would, play his guitar to me when I was a little kid, when I was going to bed. Some parents read stories to their kids. My dad had this plastic guitar and he played that, and I thought it was the best thing in the world. So it was like, so it's kind of just, what I am, at this point. So, and I accept it.
I'm 100%. So let's, I'm reading your bio again that they sent over. The thing that strikes me the most, besides your playing and the music, is how in the world did you end up playing for Peter Maxim? What was that like?
Oh yeah, that was amazing. What a brilliant artist. And again, my friend Mark, we had a number of formations of a band, but this particular group is called Dusty Wright, and then we make up some silly thing like in the Zookeepers or something silly. But he's been in the city for a really long time. He was the editor for, I think, Cream magazine for quite a while, and he worked in the entertainment business. But he's a very, very talented, blessed guy. And he just called me up and he says, "Dave, we got a gig, playing at Peter Max's party." And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Really?" So he says, "Yeah." So it was in his studio, his art studio in the city. I forget where it was, in the 20s, I think it was. And it was a benefit actually for cruelty to animals. He's very big into that.
Mm-hmm.
And adopting pets and just that whole very, very cool world. And there we were, and we were in his art studio and walking around, just all sorts of projects that are in place, displays, a lot of the stuff was for sale at that point. Just seeing his process, being performing for it was a pretty elite kind of group of people. It wasn't a huge party. It was very intimate, maybe 30 or 40 people. And being in that environment, it was just a mind blower. It was just really, really cool place.
Yeah, I imagine that's pretty amazing.
And meeting him, seeing him walking around, it's like just that whole world was like, God, Yeah,
that's crazy. All right, so David Waters, what do you have planned for the near future here? Are you going to stick with the single model and drop a new kind of business model, a single every 6 weeks or something? Or are we putting together a record?
Yeah, it's there are, I think, mindsets and strategies or game plans. You have to have a plan. Some of my plan is just more organic, like I have an urge, write the song. I have a production person that I create the videos with, and oddly enough, it happens to be my little brother, but he's just a fantastic. He's a CAD designer, computer aided design, and he actually is the mastermind behind the videos that we've been putting out. So we're working on a new video called Boy. That's going to bring people to tears because he couldn't even get through it without crying, because it's a very sentimental song. Yeah. And I mean, my music comes from just personal experience and very deep relation and human, interaction. I've never been one to write from like, I got on the bus today and I went down the street, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not a storyteller in the sense that I make up characters. Everything is just right from, the world. But we're gonna keep dropping singles. Like I said, I got this, it's almost like a dual trains going down a track. I've got the Waters Project stuff, which is the full band, and more, what's deep in my heart in that sense, which is that real aggressive kind of rock, big, world, thing that you'll hear on It's What You Do to Me, or some of the other videos we have. And then I have a very intimate, kind of more acoustic side, more solo side, that I write. This just, I know doesn't, fit the groove of this band. So it's the next single and video is going to be for this song called Boy. Okay. And it's written from a viewpoint of an old relationship I had with a woman who had given up her son for adoption, and at the age of 20, and her son came back. That's kind of where it started from. It was a song originally called "Where's the Boy," and so that's going to be happening. I am working on an EP, possibly more like 6 or 7 or maybe 8 songs as a tribute to a very dear friend of mine that just passed away. And she was, a muse. She is my muse, and just an incredible person that was responsible for many, many, many of my songs. And so I just kind of listed them all out and said, you know what, I've got to do something to keep this music alive, because it's just part of my
right
feelings about her. So yeah, it's all sorts of stuff.
What about live stuff? I know you said you haven't really been out there yet. Are you planning on? You have any good live stuff set up, or too early?
Not yet, no. And unfortunately, because it's so hard, to step back from performing live. There's, if anybody, have you ever performed? You're a musician, right? You play?
I haven't played since I was probably in high school or college, but yeah.
That feeling.
Yes.
There's nothing that, can replace that. Some people say it's better than sex, or it's better than this, or better than that. There's, until you're doing it, and there's just nothing like it. The adrenaline, the energy, the lift that you get from it is just unbelievable. So I really, really miss that. Nothing live yet right now, because there's got to be a reason to do it, in my mind, other than what I just explained. Right. Performing on a city's stage is amazing, and I've got very close friends, on a few of the stages that would let us come up and play. But it's got to be right. It's got to be for a reason. We want to have enough people there. We don't want to play to an empty room, and so it's just the machine that it takes to get all of that going and create a show, and then just get that momentum going and just keep it going. Right. is hard right now, and but we hope to get back out maybe in about 6 months.
Okay. That runs the end of my questions. Did I miss anything you want to cover?
No, I mean, thank you for allowing me to be on your podcast. It's just, I hope everybody out there just gets a chance to, just check us out, check out the YouTube links, check out the Facebook page. I'm not a real big, here's our website and our publicity people. But we love the fact that you're allowing us to do this. We have a SoundCloud link under the Waters Project, the Facebook page on the Waters Project. If you want to see some of my more, the other side of the coin, there's my kind of other.
Thank you, my friend, for taking the time. I appreciate it.
Really, I appreciate it.
Be well. Good luck with the next single, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right, cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Hello out there. Yes, hello out there, everyone. I'm Hal Schwartz.
And I'm Flynn McLean. Together, we host None But the Brave, a podcast dedicated to the music and career of Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce and E Street Band are on tour right now for the first time in 6 years, and we're taking a detailed look at what's happening on stage in our bi-weekly episodes.
We've also been recently joined by some very exciting guests, including rock journalist Warren Zanes and Stephen Hayden, Backstreet's Magazine founder Charles Cross, and Barstool's Kirk Minahan.
If you're a diehard Springsteen fan, this is the show for you.
So please subscribe to None But the Brave on your favorite podcasting platform, and we hope to see you further on up the road.
Thank you so much. We'll be seeing you.